Bucking Cup final between the Trenton Golden Hawks and Collingwood Blues. We're joined by Marty Savoy, the OJHL Commissioner here, as it's still no score between Trenton and Collingwood after the first period. So Marty, so great to see you. It's been a couple years.
Yeah, it's awesome being back. We always say this is part of the league around here is unbelievable fan base and support, so it's awesome to see Trenton back in the finals here.
Yeah, we've averaged about 1,000, just over that at the Eddie Bush and here at the Hangar. So walk us through kind of how the league has been this year. Let's start with the pandemic.
Yeah, it's funny because going through the pandemic, I think we forgot how fortunate we are just to go back to the mundane game after game after game, and we were very fortunate this year. We had no shutdowns. We didn't have to worry about plans and COVID and washing hands and all that. We just concentrated on the hockey. And I think that's what you're seeing here in this series is that we got two amazing teams with two unbelievable goaltending. The kids, more importantly, can just get back to just worrying about playing hockey and not the other stuff that happened during the pandemic.
Now with the pandemic, Marty, do the kids still have a checklist they have to follow in the mornings and report, or what kind of is still in place?
I can say thankfully we don't have to have anything in place anymore. We really followed what our public health units had told us to do. Our governing bodies made sure we probably went a little more overboard in the OJ because we wanted to make sure during the pandemic if they called us on a Tuesday night, we could put the kids back on the ice. So fortunately now that we're back to just being normal life and just watching hockey and having a good time.
That's really good to hear. Well, speaking of back to normal, Buffalo finally back in the OJHL after that pandemic hiatus because they could not get across the border. So what's the status on Buffalo with that team and getting them back rolling?
Yeah, so thankfully the Buffalo Junior Sabres are coming back next year under the leadership of Larry Playfair. We'll be going back there with our Governor's Showcase. We're fortunate that when we have the showcase down there, we get 200-300 scouts, and that's what we're here for, is to get these kids in front of as many scouts as possible. So when we come back, it just seems like crossing the border, not that it's a challenge, is that we just get so many more. It looks like we're going to have some high-end players again, so they'll be back in the league. The teams will get to go down there, and the great part is when they go down there, there's a ton of scouts when they go down there as well, because it's the only facility in junior A hockey in the country where they share an NCAA D1 program with Canisius College, so we're really excited to have them back in the league.
Speaking of travel, has there been much expansion talk about expanding or moving some conferences and some divisions? Because, I mean, there's always chatter here in Quinny. You and I know that firsthand.
Yeah, so we are looking at expansion. We're probably in the next month or so, keep your eye on our website. We'll be making probably a big announcement here. We will be extending. We don't want to let the team out yet, but there will be an announcement that we'll be going to 23 teams for next year. North, south, east, west? Well, let's just say it's in Ontario.
Okay, sounds good. Well, to another expansion team, Milton Menace. So great to see them recognized in the OJHL Awards. Unbelievable, the money that they brought in with that Milton Menace logo. Talk to us about Milton Menace and how kind of really it's been a full community effort there.
Well, Milton's not unlike the Trenton Golden Hawks here. Is that you have the 23 players that are on the ice, but there's such a machine behind that has to get put in place to be able to get fans like this and have a brand like this. So when Jason Trifon and his group came into Milton, they want to have a new brand, and the Menace logo is, I think it was rated one of the top hockey logos in North America, not just junior hockey. And they just made a commitment to the community. They said they want to bring high-level hockey to the community. They wanted to get into the community. Those players are out dealing with minor hockeys all the time, and they have fans, and it shows now. Like in the playoffs, they get a great amount of players that have come out. The sponsors have come back out. There's more of an environment now when you go to the Milton. A lot of it has to do with the ownership group and the management group there in Milton.
Speaking of the machine that is the OJHL League, how do you market the league in an era like this? Because we just came off the OHL draft selection, and we've had a lot of talk here in the rink, even like the difference between OHL, OJHL. Chris Vanso, new director of operations, really said it comes down to family preference because both leagues have been exceptional.
Yeah, we call ourselves a league of choice because if you decide to go NCAA D1 or if you want to go, youth sports or play in the OHL, you come play here and you can advance and move on. We've really made a real push towards the social media side of things. Our ecosystem, we have our sort of social media is going to get bigger and better. We're on a platform called Open Doors, so after every game, when all of our players go back to their phones, they get shots of themselves and the players on their team. They can automatically upload all of their socials. We're the only junior league in North America, including the OHL, that's on the platform. It's very similar to what the NFL does, and so we're putting a lot of our efforts in the social side of things and trying to get our players and our fans and all the parents that follow our teams to help promote the league.
Now, what about off the ice with the players? What are some of the things that you're trying to teach them? Because it's not about creating great hockey players. You got to create great men at the end of the day, too.
Yeah, we're very fortunate through the leadership of Rick Morocco. We have a foundation that all of our owners put money into to make sure that we have something for the players there. And we have what we call a first assist program that deals with mental wellness. So not just suicide prevention and everything, it's just that we talk to the players about the physicalness that they have to be prepared for, but the mental side of it is important as well. We forget sometimes that these kids, they're still kids. They're 16 to 20 years of age. They have to be athletes. They have to be students. They have pressures at home. There are more pressures than the average kid has to have. So we really make sure from a mindfulness, we have a program in place that's unlike any other program in the country. In every one of our leagues, it's mandatory that all of their players and their staff go through the entire program.
Where do you see the OJHL going now? Especially, what are some of the conversations you'll be talking to with everyone else in the summertime? What are some couple big topics?
I think the big one we're looking at right now is player safety. We're looking to bring a whole new department of player safety on board. The kids are faster, quicker, and stronger, and so we want to make sure that we have something in place for things like video review, game reviews, just to manage. We're lucky. I know the one topic we always laugh that people say we have the worst referees in the country, but that's every league in every sport in every part of the country. I think our refs are some of the best in the country. And so what we want to do now is work tighter with them to actually make sure it's a safer environment for the players on the ice.
Are you noticing instances with more head contact with your players, let's say the last 5 years or so? Because certainly, even the hangar and in the Duke Dome, based on the environment, things can get a little dicey at times.
Yeah, we don't see the numbers going up much. I think what's happened is we have good coaches in our league, and our coaches really stress the respect level within the game. We have penalties, we have types of suspensions that come in place that if you do cross the line, you get fined, you get suspended, we take care of that. But we leave a lot of the leadership in the hands of the officials and the coaches to make sure that, they're young men, they're aggressive, it's a passionate sport. So we just make sure we have the sanctions and things in place, and that's part of why we're bringing the player safety stuff on sword, just to crack down on it a little bit more.
So you mentioned fine. How does that work? Would a player physically get fined, or a team, let's say?
It's the team that's associated with it, and they're all set, so it's not as something as we review and say you're going to get this amount. It's all predetermined. Most of the suspensions in our league are all predetermined suspensions and whatnot that automatically kick in if you do something. So the kids are aware, and that's what we want to do with our player safety program, is to make sure the players are aware that this is the line. If you cross it, this is what happens.
Well, it's good to have the line clear. Well, Marty, we've got 2 minutes left, but let's go back to another job you do, coaching girls hockey. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, that's my real passion. So I coach the U18 girls out of Burlington, the Barracudas, and I had to miss because unfortunately it's tryouts time and we were at cut down time. So that's why I wasn't here. I apologize for last week. But girls hockey is just exploding. I think we see the success of our women's national team. When I was my Hockey Canada days, the dedication that women are in our national hockey league team, our national women's team is just, it's unprecedented. They commit back to having young girls play, and I just encourage anybody to just, anything we can do to help the girls game, put your hand up and just help out.
And what are you talking about your daughters now, especially as they continue on their hockey careers, hopefully?
So it's interesting. My one daughter now coaches with me. She's coached with me the last couple of weeks. We coached our youngest daughter. My wife actually coaches, and my other daughter is going to be one of our trainers this year. So it's kind of a family affair. We call it Cuda Nation, and as much as time we can talk about our Barracudas, we always will.
Where can we learn more about the Barracudas team?
Just go online to thebarracudas.org, but I associate, everyone go to the OW website. If you're looking to get involved, especially in the Trenton-Quinte area here, just go online to the OWHA. They have women's hockey all over the place. They're looking for, you should start coaching. It's just an unbelievable environment, the women's game. We need to support it a lot more than we do.
What do you want to see? A full women's league like the NHL? As a commissioner yourself, where do you think it could go in terms of a league thing?
Well, I know the girls that I coach is that they're starting to look towards the women's. So we have Renata Fast over at Burlington, and she's the Wayne Gretzky to them. They look at Renata as their hero, and Renata comes and gives back. I would love to see a program, a national team where women can play professionally. They might not make millions of dollars, but they can make a living playing the game they love just as much as us. We forget that we had a woman on our national team that gave birth to a baby, and 3 months later she come back. I don't think men could do that.
Well, Marty Savoy, thanks for all that you do, especially for the women's side of things. Really appreciate it. On behalf of all of us here at Your TV, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to go back to a quick break and go back to the second period really quick.